I'm ready.
I think my ring light is done falling.
Okay. All right. Hey, everybody. We are live here on The Beacon. This is our weekly live show. We're sorry we missed you last week. It was just, it was a week. That's all I'm going to say. And needed to get some rest that week. Plus, I had to work super, super early the following morning. So, yeah, all work and no play makes Eric a dull boy. Anyway, it's our live show. I'm rambling. It's our live show. As we said before the show started, screw it, we're doing it live. And here we are. So, my name is Eric Mitchell. I am your host, and joining me, I have three very special people. We are going to be talking about all sorts of fun stuff tonight. But before we get into what our topics are going to be, I will be doing some introductions. First off, making her Starlight Beacon debut is a member of our community. It is Luna. Luna, how are you?
Hi, I'm doing great. I'm so excited.
Nice, nice. We're excited to have you here. Making her triumphant return. She kind of puts me to shame when it comes to Star Wars knowledge. She is the Jedi librarian herself. It's Lavender the librarian. How are you?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right, thank you. And of course, this wouldn't be a Book of Boba Fett show without my buddy, my fellow Boba Fett fanboy, I guess you could say.
I think that has connotations now.
We will see how I feel after episode 6. How about that?
Okay, okay. Should I say Omega's #1 fan?
That's you, Eric. I mean, you have a tattoo of Omega on your arm that you're still not showing the community.
You do?
Yeah,
And I find that
no,
atrocious.
I do not have.
I find it
a
atrocious.
tattoo of
Seriously,
Omega.
right now, if you are watching or listening to the show later on down the road, if you are not in his Discord server, SB Transmissions on Discord, or you're not following him on social media, follow him on social media, hit him with an @ and be like, bro, I need to see this Omega tattoo. It's not cool. You're keeping it from the community. And I, for one, will not put up with it, Eric. You need to share the love.
Okay, you want to see? You want to see? you want to go, bro? Here. See,
You wanna throw it out?
see. Here's my arm. See, no
Yeah, see?
Omega tattoo on my arm. See,
And that proves you hate
here's
Omega.
another one. Yeah. Oh yes, I hate Omega.
Stop hating Omega.
I think we're saying her name wrong though. It's Omega.
Omega.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
Welcome back, Jim. Welcome back, buddy.
What's up?
Welcome
How's it
back.
going?
Hey, it's, doing all right, man. You know, it's been a week.
Here to casually spread misinformation.
Yeah, exactly. Fake
No,
news.
it's not misinformation. It's just
It's just John being John.
it's filtered truth.
Yeah. This is John Byram, everybody. I think I said your name beforehand. Maybe I don't.
Maybe,
remember.
maybe not. I don't know.
Maybe
This
I don't
is
remember.
John Byram.
This is John Byram, the man, the myth, the legend,
Hi.
the Chelsea legend, Roy Kent.
I'm not going to cuss. I'm not going to cuss.
No, I know.
I'm not going to
You
do
can
it.
save that for our RPG show, sir. So before we get into the fun tonight, we do have a couple of announcements. First off, we are actually looking for a few more people to join our team here on the Beacon. So if you are interested, please shoot us a DM on social media, join our Discord, talk to us there, and we will work on getting you on the show. Jane, I know that you have reached out to us. I have not forgotten about you. We will get you in here soon. But yes, if you are looking to join our team, join us. We'd love to have you. Our second announcement for the evening. Join us in our Discord tonight after the show. We are going to be doing a watch party for the brand new Amazon original series, The Legend of Vox Machina. I saw this yesterday. It is epic in every sense of the word. You will cry tears of joy and laughter as you are watching this thing. And it's out there. That's all I'm going to say. So join us after the show for that. Two other announcements tonight. John, do you host a show?
No, I do not.
You don't.
I host 2 shows.
You host 2 shows. That's right. John, if you do not know, is the host of Game On DC and Level Up Live with our buddy Joey McDermott, who is a member of our team. And I am actually going to be on John and Joey's show this week, this Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are going to be talking Star Wars games, and I'm super excited about this, buddy. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/OTN Media. If everything goes right, it'll start at 8, if not 8:05.
Yeah.
So plan accordingly. But yeah, Eric, we're super excited to have you on to talk Star
Yeah.
Wars video games. It's
yeah.
dare I say, a rejuvenated gaming space ever since the success of Fallen Order.
Yes.
There's a lot to talk about now because of those games that were announced.
Absolutely. And one of the topics is, how much do we actually trust EA not to screw it up? But you'll have to tune in Thursday night to find out.
Well, we can also tease that a little bit tonight too.
True.
So yeah, I'm super excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. Also, if you're not following John and Joey on social media, please do so. John is at Fiasco. That's at PHIASK0.
Yeah, because people at Twitter will not let me take over the account that hasn't been used in 8 years. That has it spelled with an O.
Okay.
Yeah, because
Well,
that's so sad.
Your spelling's better anyway.
Yeah, are you trying to say I'm a 0? Is that
No,
why?
I'm just saying that it's awesome.
Wow. First time on the show, Luna, and you're already throwing barbs. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. She can come back. I like this. This is fun.
Toxic. Very toxic. I've been called toxic, but yeah, now we have a new toxic person in the server.
This is true.
I do my best.
Yeah, there you go. And you can follow Joey at Courtside King. That's Courtside with a K. And that's King. And then, of course, you can follow at Level Up Live, at OTN Media, and at Game On DC. I probably butchered a couple of those, John, but we'll get those.
Nope,
we'll get those in the notes. Okay, cool.
Spot on.
All right. And then we have one more announcement this evening. John and I are part of an RPG show here on the Beacon. John is one of our players, and I am the GM for the show. And I know some of you have probably been asking, well, a lot of you have been asking, hey, Eric, when's the RPG coming back?
We were canceled.
We were canceled. Apparently, I threw way too many F-bombs during our streams as Stevie Palps. But never fear. We had the holidays going on. January has kind of been a crazy month for all of us, like when it comes to getting together and everything. Try juggling 7 people's schedules across 3 time zones. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a cakewalk. But we are coming back February 27th at 8 p.m. Eastern. Is going to be part 1 of our 2-part premiere. And let me tell you something. I'm cooking up something very interesting for our group.
Don't like the sound of that.
Like to know what the adventure is?
Just tease
Spoilers?
it. Just
come on.
Tease it. Don't come out right and say exactly what we're gonna do, but just let them know that the mouse is not going to be happy with us.
Oh, the mouse is not going to be happy.
No.
I plan on getting a cease and desist letter after this one.
Oh boy.
It's not go that far. Like I still want to go back to Disney.
Yeah. Our May meetup next year has been canceled already. Like Bob Chapek's like watching this right now. Oh, with his team of lawyers, just like, what are they gonna say? Let's just say a certain expensive experience is going to be involved in our adventure.
Be careful. They're going to play this stream VOD in court, so.
I said expensive experience. That could be building a lightsaber for all we know. That could be building a droid. That could just be going to Disney in general.
Yes.
That's
God
all
knows
I'm
I don't have
saying.
that money.
That's all I'm saying. Oh, also one more thing. I am actually working on bringing on a special guest in 2 weeks to talk about the Galactic Star Cruiser. We are actually going to get a Disney travel agent and Star Wars fan to be joining us to talk about the Star Cruiser, tips and tricks for first-time Disney attendees, all that stuff. And of course, that will be our Book of Boba Fett season finale roundtable as well. So get ready for that in 2 weeks. Other than that, anybody else got anything before we get started?
I got nothing.
John, what do you have?
Got nothing.
Oh, I just saw that grid.
So suspicious. You're the most suspicious looking person I've ever seen.
I just saw that grid and I was just like, uh-oh. Mickey, if you're watching, hi.
Every time John smiles, I check for my wallet.
Wait, what?
John would never do that.
No.
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 It's so suspicious. You're saying that like you would do it is the
No,
thing.
he actually would not do that. That is like entirely out of his character. This is our live show, everybody. Let's get into the fun here. So we have a couple of news topics before we get into our main topic, which is going to be spoiler breakdown of chapters 4 and 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. Our first news story, a little company known as Electronic Arts took to oh god, here we
Never
go.
heard of them.
Here we go. They're behind Madden, like that's the only game they've ever made.
Is that the baseball one?
It's been the same game for 15 years.
Yeah,
Don't
it's
worry.
been the same game for 15 years. It really has. And so is FIFA, honestly. EA took to Twitter the other day on their EA Star Wars account and announced that their Respawn Entertainment studio is working on 3 new Star Wars games. One of these games is a follow-up to Jedi Fallen Order. The second one is a first-person shooter set in the Star Wars universe. And the third one is actually a strategy game being developed by, is it Bit Reactor, John?
I believe so.
It's a team made of folks who worked on XCOM.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's actually being developed by former developers on the XCOM series. This is huge. This was like the biggest news that we got this week when it comes to Star Wars stuff, outside of like High Republic stuff and the Star Cruiser, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. I want to get your thoughts on this, and we're going to open this up into discussion before we get to Star Cruiser here. What are your? I'll start with Luna, and then I'll go with Lavender, and then I'll go with John here. What are your thoughts on this announcement from EA and Respawn?
So I'm obviously incredibly excited about Fallen Order. It's one of my favorite video games. Period.
Mm-hmm.
It's just great, and I've been waiting for.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm saying I.
Oh, no problem. I've been waiting for the sequel since I finished the first game, and I just can't wait to see where they take the series. If we're still following Cal Kestis, I hope we are, because I really like him. And I'm just really excited to see where they go with it.
Yeah.
Obviously, the ending of the last game was pretty open-ended as for where they can go next. And then we got a Star Wars first-person shooter game.
Yes.
It doesn't. We don't know much yet, other than it's a first-person shooter, and it's being developed by Respawn, not DICE. So it's probably not Battlefront 3, I would say.
It was canceled.
It was.
Well.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah, that team was actually pulled to work on the abysmal Battlefield 2042.
Yeah. Either way, I've liked most of the first-person Star Wars games that have come out in general, so I'm excited for that.
Yeah.
As for the strategy game, I've never actually played XCOM, but I have friends who really like it, so I'm excited on their behalf.
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't go for strategy games because I'm not smart, but it's still exciting. It's a direction that Star Wars hasn't like taken as often as I think they should have, because there's a lot of, strategy that goes into war. It's a Star War, so there's any number of wars that they could be going after. So I'm excited for all of these.
Nice, nice. Lavender, go ahead and hit me with your thoughts.
So I was just thinking that apparently Respawn has been waiting to make this announcement until my husband finally played Fallen Order, because he like literally finished playing it the night before, and then I checked Twitter the next day and there was the announcement, and I'm like, oh, I have news to share. But yeah, I'm really excited. I personally, I would love to see more from our friend Night Sister Marin in Fallen Order 2. I hope that we get to like learn a little bit more about her and maybe even see her train as a Force user. It'd be so good. The strategy game, again, like Luna, I'm not super into strategy games, so I'm excited for my husband because he's gonna love it. And first person shooter, I'm like, okay, maybe this can replace Overwatch for me finally.
Finally.
And I'm like fingers crossed that there's some bounty hunter action going on. I think that'd be fun. I saw earlier on Twitter someone saying like it'd be cool to see if the scrapped Star Wars 1313, the Boba Fett game that was in development like forever ago. They're like, that'd be cool to see that happen as a first person shooter.
Yeah. John, go ahead.
I don't trust anything EA touches. So I'll believe all of this when a game is actually released, that I can actually pre-order and download or hold a physical copy on, because EA, don't trust them. But no, for Fallen Order 2, I think it's going to be great. I do think it's going to be following along with Cal Kestis' story, as he kind of continues to figure out his place in the galaxy. Now that he found the holocron. Spoiler alert. He found the holocron or whatever it was that had all the listings of the Force users in the universe. That doesn't exist anymore because you got to keep them safe and they can find their own destiny, because that has always worked in Star Wars. Great job. Part of me wouldn't be surprised if we got like a prequel game that predates the original Fallen Order, where we do get to see the second sister go through her training before her fall to the dark side. Or should I say her ascendancy to the dark side. But I think that'd be kind of cool also. I think one of the really neat eras of Star Wars that is starting to get a little more media attention is that Order 66 time frame of, what happened throughout the galaxy when that order was given. Yes, okay, we understand, what happened. We've seen episode 3, Fallen Order had that, one flashback mission in there where you got to see Cal Kestis during Order 66 as well. With the Bad Batch, the first episode, I absolutely loved it because you learned more about Order 66 and the rise of the Empire. So part of me would be completely okay with a prequel version of this game before the events of the original Fallen Order, leading the events leading up to Order 66 and immediately what happened after, especially with the second sister in there as well. I think that'd be really, really neat.
Maybe we could get a Cal Kestis scrapping simulator when he was on Braca.
Yes.
As a mini game.
I think that'd be a cool little Easter egg. Like once you actually complete the game, it'd be like Tetris or something. I don't know. So something weird in there where it's like,
the little Lucre Hulk coming down the screen.
Yeah.
And then for strategy games, I love strategy games. I think they're great. I was a big StarCraft player. I play Age of Empires. It's definitely not a game for everyone. But I think that's kind of one of the cool things with a large company like EA, and I can't believe I'm about to give them a compliment on this.
How dare you?
But they're willing to throw their money at very genre-specific games that have a large following, but not large in compared to like, of a more open world kind of game, kind of like a Fallen Order or a first-person shooter. So I'm excited for it. It should be interesting to see how it pans out. But again, I think as long as it has the Star Wars tag on it, it's going to sell. Whether it reviews well or not, that I'm not sure, except for the fact Fallen Order. If Respawn even does 80% as good as they did on the original Fallen Order, that game will be fantastic.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you here. Fallen Order was just one of those games that just hit at like the right moment, especially like when it came to Star Wars storytelling, because it was right in that moment where we had The Mandalorian, Fallen Order, and then like a month later we had Rise of Skywalker. So like it just hit at like this one moment, and it was a perfect storm. I will say this: Fallen Order is one of my favorite Star Wars stories of all time. Um, because regardless of if you read books, comics, watch the movies, or watch the TV shows, or play the video games, they all count as Star Wars stories, and this one is one of the top Star Wars stories out there. The acting is incredible. The emotion that this game shows is incredible, and the action's fantastic. The Respawn just knocked it out of the park, and they hit lightning in a bottle. They caught lightning in a bottle with this one. Now, I will say this about the first-person shooter: Respawn is all about first-person shooters as well. Like, a lot of these developers came from Call of Duty, and Titanfall was their first game um, when the studio launched. And if you've played Titanfall or Titanfall 2, or hell, if you even play Apex, which is set in the Titanfall universe, you know Respawn can do a very good shooter. So if we get half the shooter of Titanfall in Star Wars, we're golden. I mean, it's going to do very, very well. Um, the strategy game, I'm intrigued because, like John, I play Age of Empires also, which, quick side note, if you have not played Age of Empires, you should, because it's amazing.
I'll
Um,
get to it.
it's great. It's so great. Like with the history and everything. But anyway, to see this by the XCOM developers really intrigues me, because you could easily make a Clone Wars strategy game with this and
That'd be
have you
awesome.
Definitely.
commanding and like do two campaigns like John was talking about with StarCraft. StarCraft has been known to show all three factions in the series and have campaigns for all three factions. You could easily do a Republic campaign and a Separatist campaign, and just have them parallel and intersect with each other at some point.
They just
And
better have droid voice acting.
they should. And I say bring back D. Bradley Baker to play every single freaking
Yes.
clone in that game.
Yep.
Um, but like even then, like you could expand it into the Galactic Civil War, and have you play as Thrawn commanding units on a battlefield, or like in space, or what have you. So um, I think that this is a really bold move, and I believe it's Joey that says that we could possibly get Fallen Order 2 by the end of this year, John.
Yes. Expect an announcement. Probably. It wouldn't surprise me if it was either at Celebration or even May 4th.
Yeah.
An announcement, maybe earlier. I mean, it really does come down to. I do think that we will get it before the end of the year.
Yeah.
Maybe holiday 2022.
Hmm.
That or maybe even the October timeframe.
Yeah.
Right before it. But it would not surprise me if it did drop towards the end of 2022. I expect it to be the end of 2022.
Yeah.
But again, when it's announced, is going to play a major role of when that date's going to be.
Yeah. I think they're holding out for either May 4th or Celebration as well.
No.
I don't see them pulling the trigger on it at E3 or whatever EA's summer game celebration letdown is going to be. Um,
Toxic.
yeah, yeah, I'm very toxic.
Yeah, because that's June 12th for E3. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they would do the May announcements.
I mean, I could see them, like, if they do an E3 thing, I could see them putting it in like the Xbox presentation, because this will probably have the early access on EA Play through Xbox Game Pass, probably. Um, your any other thoughts on the Respawn announcement here?
Uh, no. I will say that one of the things I admire about Respawn's first-person shooters are their ability to sort of integrate unique gameplay mechanics into it. Like stuff like Titanfall has the Titans,
Yeah.
and we've got Apex with all the different abilities, and I think that would work really well for Star Wars. So I'm really hyped for the first-person shooter being developed by them.
Um,
I
Go
just
ahead.
wanted to say, from a
Yeah.
marketing standpoint, that was like beautiful timing
Yeah.
with the Fallen Order Easter eggs in Mando, or not Mando, Boba.
Yeah. Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah.
Mando.
Yeah.
Basically Mando.
Yeah. And we're gonna get to that here in a few minutes. Um, just want to say hi to everybody real quick in chat. I am so sorry. We kind of just dove into everything here. I see Zach, Fred, Jane, and Farmboy are here. Lavender, is that your Fred?
That is. That's my husband.
Nice. 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 Well,
It was
hi,
funny. I
Fred.
was trying to see. I was like, I couldn't tell if I could hear
Bless
us from the TV out in the living room or it was a game again. I was like, either or.
you. Yeah.
He's either watching us or more gaming.
Nice. Um, but yeah, the marketing for this is going to be fantastic. Respawn, I trust Respawn. I don't trust EA as well. Like John, like I just don't trust them. But we'll see. We'll see. They canceled our beloved Battlefront 3 for Battlefield 2042. Um, which don't even get me started on that. I barely played the beta and I was like, I'm putting this down. I'm not even buying this game.
I just want to give them a smidge of credit
Yeah.
because was it Journey to Batu for Sims 4 came out like
Oh yeah.
towards the beginning of COVID
Yeah.
and Disney was shut down and I was just like living vicariously through my Sims. I was like, I can't go in real life, so I'm just gonna sit on my computer for who knows how long, pretending I'm at Disney World. That was
There you
pretty
go.
wonderful.
Yeah.
So they gave me that hope.
Yeah. I thought that that expansion was fantastic. Was that May of 2020, like when COVID was first hitting?
Yeah, I think it was like May or June it came out.
Yeah.
It was somewhere like around summertime. I was like, it's
Yes.
hot in Florida. I wouldn't want to be there anyways. So we'll experience it digitally
There you go.
and and you don't have to spend real money in it.
No, no, you don't. Libby in chat says, while we're on this Respawn thing, Empire at War remake, that was a real-time strategy game from the early 2000s that was on PC. That would be really interesting to see the Galactic Civil War in another strategy game. So, Libby, great question. We will see. But let's move on here to the House of the Mouse, where we're going to be talking about Disney parks here and a certain experience that has kind of made me excited but a little jaded at the same time, I guess you could say, because of how damn expensive it is. So moving on here, we have actually we're gonna have three things here. Galactic Star Cruiser news. We now know that the transport to Batuu will it'll be a box truck that has the interior of a drop shuttle, which you will board the box truck through a uh, doorway that looks like it came out of Star Wars. And then it will drive you to Batuu, which, if you've been in the park, it's actually right next to First Order Cargo. That's actually going to be the entrance that you are going into. So you have Kylo Ren's TIE Echelon to the right. In the middle is First Order Cargo, and immediately to the left of that is going to be that entrance. And then we also have itineraries. Passengers are now starting to get their itineraries for their cruises. If you look at Disney Food Blog, you'll see some of the itinerary there. the one thing that I'm gonna just talk. We'll talk about this in an open discussion here, but the one thing that stood out to me is kind of like how stacked that itinerary is for the experience. Um, but one thing that pisses me off is you get this party in the atrium that lasts 15 minutes. It's like a celebration of like the launch of the Star Cruiser. But it's like 15 minutes of drinks and that's it. And then like there's a dessert buffet like somewhere else for an hour. Um, I don't know why I'm randomly bringing this up, but that's one of the things that I noticed from the itinerary here. Let's talk about the box truck first. Your thoughts on this box truck and boarding it like a shuttle to go to Batu. Um, Luna, I know that you have not been.
Yeah,
We we hope that you do get to go soon because
I hope that I get to go ever.
it's an amazing
But
experience. It's an absolutely
as
amazing experience.
yeah, as somebody who's never been to uh any of that Galaxy's Edge stuff, or indeed a Disney park in my life, um, everything all right?
I'm gonna bring that up. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm good. My
Okay,
wife was just telling me something real quick.
cool.
Yeah.
I've never been to a Disney park. I've never been to Galaxy's Edge. I am seething with jealousy at every other person in this call. But
it's okay.
I do have a background in stagecraft.
Mhm.
I went to college at the University of Findlay for theater design with a technical emphasis. And I
Mhm.
think it's actually a pretty clever bit of stagecraft, if a little bit under budgeted for what I'd expect from Disney. But I think it's pretty interesting. I think it
Yeah.
could work if executed correctly.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's executed correctly remains to be seen, but I think it could work, and I
Yeah.
think it's interesting. I think that it's definitely a very creative use of a box truck and an interior, since people will only be seeing the inside, I
Yeah.
assume.
Yeah.
It might look a little silly for anybody like looking at the box truck leaving the, but other than that, I think it's pretty cool. It could work. It could
Yeah.
work.
Yeah.
Whether or not it does kind of depends on Disney.
Yeah. No,
But it's not a bad idea in of
yeah.
itself.
No, I agree. I agree. It's going to be interesting to see how it's executed. Lavender, I want to get your thoughts on the box truck as well. I'm going to have one more topic to join in on this after we go over this and then the itinerary here. But Lavender, your thoughts on the box truck?
So here's where I have faith in Disney. I just looked at the outside of the box truck and
Hmm.
it is underwhelming. It is a white truck.
Yeah.
But the renderings of the inside look really great. And
Hmm.
I have, having been at Galaxy's Edge, I know how immersive everything can be, even though, it looks plain from the backside of the buildings.
Yeah.
And like, if they still have people after 50 years asking if you're really going up or down in the Haunted Mansion stretching room, like, I think
Yeah.
they can pull off the truck thing.
Oh yeah. I wholeheartedly agree with that. 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. And we'll just have to suspend our belief
Yeah.
and pretend we don't know that fact if
Yeah.
when we ever get to go there.
Yeah, exactly. And in no way am I knocking Disney for this idea. I just found it interesting because some people are like, "Oh, well, it's just going to be a bus that kind of looks like a shuttle or something like that." No, this is a box truck, and of course, it's not going to have any windows because they want you to feel immersed in this experience. Of course.
Yeah, they
Um,
don't want you to see Hollywood Studios backlot.
A cool thing
exactly.
they could maybe put some screens on to simulate windows going through
Oh,
hyperspace or something.
they are. I mean, they
Oh
are
well,
throughout the hotel,
there we
and
go. This is the first I'm hearing of this, so
yeah, they are throughout the
great.
hotel and in the landing shuttle. John, your thoughts because I know that you have quite a few here, bud.
I personally think they could have done this with a normal shuttle bus,
Yeah.
and have the same setup.
Mhm.
You take one of those park hoppers, right?
Mhm.
You take that, you make the seats flush against the walls, you design the inside like we're seeing in these renderings, It's the exact same thing, and it makes more sense. You can have a specialized door on it, just like you do on a box truck.
Hmm.
And I think it works, and it would carry more people than the estimated 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 seats
Yeah.
that the shuttle has. Now,
Yeah.
my thing comes down to is if you're going to go with the box truck and you're Disney, for the love of Obi-Wan, decorate the outside of the box truck.
Yeah.
It is for the amount of money that Disney has for them to be like, you know what? We're gonna do this thing where we're gonna put this imaginary frame around the the outside part of the box truck where we're putting the makeshift loading door in,
Hmm.
and that's the part that's gonna be like flushed up against this loading bay. And that part might look like a ship, but then the
Yeah.
rest of it looks like something you pick up from a U-Haul or a Penske truck rental.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna take that short, little, sweet, bumpy drive because let's be real here, it's a box truck. It's not gonna
Yeah.
be fun. Over to the side entry for Batu.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Shuttles generally aren't a smooth ride. They're not like
Mhm.
the Millennium Falcon or whatever. So fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Just decorate the box truck.
Yeah.
Like you already have a standard building that you're using for a Star Cruiser that you decorated the outside of. Just
Mhm.
decorate the box truck, and I'd probably have less of an issue with it.
Yeah.
But right now, I just think they're just being stingy, and that's kind of weird to say about Disney.
Hmm.
But again, it's not finished, so it'd be
Yeah.
kind of I'd be kind of curious to see what the finished product is.
Hmm.
Maybe they'll
But
put a skin on it.
Yeah.
they need to do something because I mean, or is the cast member driving the box truck going to be in character also? Like that's
I have to. Well, part of the thing is they can't make the frame of the box truck too ostentatious because that might be a safety hazard because they're driving it. It's like a truck.
Mm.
But
Yeah.
I agree that they should do something.
But
It
Well, I
could
mean,
be kind of lame. It was just like a Penske truck.
if you want to do something like a shuttle bus though, like you take like even if they want to take something like the what is it called that they just discontinued, the airport shuttle buses,
the
those
Magic
buses.
Oh, the
Express.
Magic
Yeah.
Express.
Yeah.
Take something like that, have an elevated loading dock, you go straight in so you don't have see the buses, the stairs of the bus.
Yeah.
You walk straight in through that door, then it kind of like pulls away like a jet bridge for an aircraft. The door closes, seals up, do whatever. And you can design those buses to look any way you want on the outside, even if it's just a skin, and that would look better than a box truck.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the issue, is that it's a very plain box truck with a Star Wars door retrofitted into the side of it.
Yeah. Now, when the question that you had about the cast member driving it, if they were going to be in character too, I mean, for Kilimanjaro Safaris and Jungle Cruise, they're in character for those things. So I would assume that the cast member driving the box truck would also be in character, as well.
But I would have to
I
ask,
kind
would they actually be interacting with the guests though? Because a box truck
Yeah.
doesn't allow you that same kind of interaction like the Jungle Cruise or
Unless
the
you
Safari
slide
does.
the screen open.
That's assuming Disney paid for that slide screen in the box truck, sir,
I'm-
because generally that's not attached.
I'm just wondering
Based
how
on the
you're.
renderings, I
Yeah.
don't think you'll be able to see the driver.
No. So either they're
I
going
guess
to
it depends on the truck.
So either they're going to have a video of the driver,
It'd be
or
a Mon
they're
Calamari.
it's Lieutenant Beck, or they're
It's DJ
going to
Rex.
yeah, or they're
No,
going to have
he can't fly anything. Let's not let him do this. He'll crash
One
again.
tour,
yeah.
one tour group always gets stranded.
Yes. Yeah, it's a decommissioned Star Tours that Rex crashed. That's what the
Took a
shuttle
wrong
is.
turn at Alderaan.
Yeah, exactly. After it blew up. Um, unfortunate
Too
accident.
soon.
Too soon for that also? Come on.
Yeah, too soon.
40
Dude.
plus years, Alderaan, still too soon. Or I have a feeling that the driver of the box truck will probably come on like an intercom system as like a pilot or something like that. Also, in this artist rendering, it shows that you're able to fit a life-size droid in the shuttle as well. So, if you want to buy the $25,000 life-size R2-D2, you can bring that back with you to the Star Cruiser via your drop shuttle. So let's
I love that it's a crew to traveling with them too.
yeah, imagine checking that on your flight.
Like, here's my Leku.
You will not put R2 in the storage bin below. Absolutely not.
No,
They
no.
if they gotta put something on the outside of those box trucks, even if it's
Yeah.
just like those one of those awful Star Wars bumper stickers that's like the Empire hates your stick family
Yeah.
or whatever it is. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. Now let's talk about, speaking of shuttles, because I want to talk about the shuttle thing here real quick. We also saw this week that a sign for a shuttle has popped up at Disney Springs for the Galactic Star Cruiser. Now, our very own Maggie McDonald, who actually works at Disney, I asked her about this, and she said the reason why you're seeing this sign at Disney Springs is, um, say like you flew in like really early in the morning and you checked in for the Star Cruiser, but yet you couldn't board the Star Cruiser. They'll send you over to Disney Springs for a little bit until it's time for you to board your shuttle to go to the Star Cruiser. Um,
That makes sense.
it makes sense. That way you can get your chicken guy before you go into space, or you can get your Earl of Sandwich before you go into space. Jane, real quick, says, "I'm betting that the shuttle will be almost covered in a screen on the inside to look like windows." Yeah, that's what we're looking at here. Go ahead, Luna.
Oh no, don't.
Oh,
I was agreeing with
oh,
Jane.
okay. So yeah, that's the whole point of why you see the shuttle or the shuttle bus sign at Disney Springs. It's not going to be like one of those hotels where you can like park hop to like Magic Kingdom from the Star Cruiser because let's face it, like once you're kind of like locked into the Star Cruiser, like you're locked into the Star Cruiser. Um,
There is no escape.
yeah,
Nope.
yeah, because this is supposed to be an immersive experience here. Um, Now let's talk about the cruise itinerary. If some of you have seen this cruise itinerary as well, I brought up the 15-minute like cocktail lounge type thing. And my wife actually brought up a point while you were talking, Luna, and I apologize for
Oh, not at
kind
all.
of listening to her while also listening to you here. She brought up the point that if you like that schedule might be different because of COVID, like they want to limit as much interaction as possible, like when it comes to the guests. Um, Now, granted, you are paying way too much for this experience here. Um, but you can see like there's sabacc tournaments, there's lightsaber training, there's bridge training. Your dinner is actually a four-course meal that takes like an hour and a half to do, and that's kind of like a typical cruise line dinner service is usually about an hour to an hour and a half. And it has multiple courses. What are some of the things that stand out here in the sample itinerary or from like Disney Food Blog and stuff? Um, like lightsaber training, we've seen the lightsaber here. I gotta say, I'm not impressed. I'm really not impressed with the lightsaber because it looks like you're just going to be in the Qui-Gon Jinn batter up position like the whole time that you're in lightsaber training because even Kaylin said it's pretty bulky for what you see. Like the hilt is pretty bulky here. So what's standing out here in terms of the itinerary? And I'm
It's
sorry I
hard for
didn't.
me to comment.
Yeah,
I'm actually trying to find the itinerary again.
yeah. Let me see here if I can bring up Disney
Here, I
Food
can
Blog.
share the link with you guys.
Yeah, I
That'd be awesome.
apologize for not having that link.
I just shared it in the Discord real quick.
Okay.
Where's that?
And I just popped it into the YouTube chat as well if anyone else wants to look at it with us.
Okay.
I don't see it in Discord, so I'll do the
Yeah.
YouTube chat.
Yeah, sorry about that.
You're good.
All right.
So I was gonna say like the ship orientation, like the and like the light refreshments and stuff. That totally reminds me of like getting on a cruise ship when you go on and they're like, you might get a drink in the lobby.
Yeah,
Um, I know like on the Disney cruise ship, because that's my only cruise experience so far has been with Disney.
yeah.
They do like a big like sail away celebration,
Hmm.
and we missed it on our first cruise because I was like, okay, it's at this time, but like it's probably going to be like a half-hour thing, right?
Yeah,
And we got up to the top of the deck and it was already over. So they have a lot of stuff to fit in not a ton of hours. So I can see the short time frames for everything. But still, yeah. Like I want longer than an hour for a sabacc tournament.
yeah, yeah. Me too. Um, and then you have unexpected story moments popping up here as well. Um, Now, when it comes to Batu itself for this thing, and we've talked about this time and time again here, Batu is only half a day on
Right.
this cruise ship through this sample itinerary here. I keep calling it a cruise ship, but yeah,
It's basically a dry cruise ship.
yeah, it is a dry dock cruise ship, yeah. Um, and here you are guaranteed to ride Rise of the Resistance as well as Smuggler's Run, which is huge, especially with Rise of the Resistance, because
Hmm.
that is the number one e-ticket attraction there. You will have another story moment while you're there. You do get lunch provided for you at Docking Bay 7, so that way you can also buy your $13 spork if you wanted to. Um,
I love my spork.
oh, yeah. Now, my question here is, say you wanted to build a droid. Like, where do you squeeze that in? Say you wanted to do a lightsaber build. Where do you squeeze that in?
Looks like so in between Smuggler's Run and lunch, there's what, 90 minutes it looks like just about, or no, not even.
No, so Smuggler's Run is 10 to 10:30 according to
10:30.
the sample.
Yeah. Oh, and then 11:15 for lunch. So, yeah, and I mean, because there's going to be other people enjoying the park as well. It's not
Yeah,
just the Star Cruiser guests. So,
no.
yeah,
Yeah. I
I don't see that happening.
yeah, exactly. Now with the droid racing, I've heard you cannot bring back a previously built droid to enter the droid racing competition. They will
Oh,
provide a
you have to
droid
make one
for
there.
you, or you have to make one for you, or you have to make one. The Sabacc tournament, yeah, let me buy the Star Cruiser or win the Star Cruiser in a Sabacc tournament. Like, come on, let me do that. And let that be
Yeah.
like an 8 hour experience. Like I want like a high stakes World Series of Poker, like 8 hour sabacc experience.
I'm
Yeah,
just
just
thinking
like
the woman I ran into on my first Disney cruise who looked at they have like that Oceaneers Club for the kids.
yes.
She walked in there, she was very drunk, and she's like, they could have put the casino here.
Oh
Like it's a
God,
Disney cruise. They're not going to take like the area for like the 3 to 10 year olds and turn it into a casino. But
with
I feel like she'd be
smoking.
happy if there was a sabacc tournament.
Yeah, yeah, I would too.
Maybe we
Um,
also get some BB-8 looking slot machines.
yeah,
Oh,
from Canto Bite. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, I just think that this is just interesting here when it comes to all of this, and especially like the itineraries that people are now getting on their datapad apps as well.
Mhm.
We are about a month away from launch, so we're going to see what people say on these initial launchings. We do know that there have been some cancellations due to that infamous video now with the Goldberg's kid. But outside of that, I
And
think
I
that
missed that.
I'll show it
No,
to you
no, no.
later.
Trust me, you did not miss anything.
No,
yeah, I don't know what you're talking about either.
You might
no, it's
actually be the only person who has not been like scarred for life with that video.
and
I haven't seen it either.
I will say this,
Two
and
people.
I will say this, and if anybody from Disney is watching, I apologize. probably getting banned before the May 4th meetup next year. I will say this: it's not the Goldberg kid's fault. Let's just say that. He did the best that he could with that video.
This is so funny without context.
I will
Yes.
say this.
Acting was questionable, but okay.
He was excited.
He was. He looked honestly excited.
Yeah, he honestly looked excited. So I can't fault him here. The thing that I didn't really enjoy was the makeup of the singer in the cantina and how and the song she was singing. I was like, this reminds me a lot of The Fifth Element. That's
Okay.
all I'm gonna say.
What,
Looked
French?
cheesy. It looked so. It just like.
Now,
Look,
granted, they're
disclosure,
probably touching
I'm
this
not
up.
a makeup artist or anything, but it just the whole thing looked bad. Not
Yeah.
just like the makeup, but everything they showed. Just for that price point, I was
Yeah.
expecting a ton more, and
Yeah.
it was not showcased very well in that video.
Yeah. I will say this: they're probably cleaning up things. Oh God, another freaking bot.
Very popular with them Russian bots.
I am, buddy.
This isn't the droid we're looking for.
Yeah, I'm also gonna report this person too.
Okay, YouTube, when you report them, promotes terrorism as an option. What the?
Actually, I should say that it promotes terrorism.
That's
No, I'm
just
not.
so-
Explain.
I'm just saying it's unwanted content and spam.
That is just a random choice
Yeah.
to give someone.
Anyway, let's move on here. So I think we've covered the Star Cruiser thing. I think
Sucks.
so. It sucks. We will see how it goes. Especially,
I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
I am too. I just we're gonna have that travel agent on in a couple of weeks, and I kind of want to talk to them about like whether or not we'll see the price point drop within like the first few months. But we'll get to that. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's move on now to our main topic of the night, which is going to be the book of one Robert A. Fettuccini the third.
The third?
The third, yes. Yeah, Esquire.
Esquire.
Yes.
Are you
CHD.
saying that there was a clone made before him that didn't work?
There could have been.
No,
Is that
he's
Omega?
Alpha. No, Omega's last. Alpha
Yeah.
is first.
Oh,
Yes.
no, isn't Boba Fett Alpha?
Yes, Boba Fett is Alpha.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm
I mean,
just,
if
I'm
he's the
just being
third, he could be Bravo.
I'm just being goofy here, people.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we
We
lost
lost
Luna.
Luna.
We'll give Luna a couple of minutes to join us. There she is.
Hi again.
Hi, we lost you.
Yep, I saw that.
So Discord crashed. Yeah, hashtag NA production if T-Spans is here. So let's talk about chapters 4 and 5 of the Book of Boba Fett. We were going to talk about chapter 4 last week, but due to me just being thoroughly exhausted and having to wake up super early, we canceled last week's show. And then we're going to talk about the Mandalorian guest starring Fennec Shand from this week, which I want to get your non-spoiler thoughts first for these two episodes, like how you felt about them, and then we'll get into spoilers here. And I'm actually going to start with Lavender, then I'll go with John, and then I'll go with Luna here. Lavender, your non-spoiler thoughts on episodes 4 and 5 of the Book of Boba Fett.
So episode 4, I love that we get the Fennec backstory. That was just beautiful. I was waiting for this. I from the moment that we saw her come back in Mando, I was like, what happened here? I need to know everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very glad that gave it to us.
Yes.
And then of course episode 5, I'm really excited to see the Mandalorian back again.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's obviously a giveaway in the title of it, the Return of the Mandalorian. Um, I was kind of like riveted. My husband and I were watching it together on Wednesday morning because we are like, the kids aren't here to interrupt us, and we haven't been on the internet
Nice.
yet to get spoiled.
Yeah.
And we're just like every frame, like, oh my god, what is happening? This is amazing. So it was mind blowing.
Nice. John, your thoughts on chapters 4 and 5?
Well, it's nice to know Fennec Shan will need WD-40 for the rest of her life.
Yes.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
I will say that I found episode 4 very fascinating in the sense of like the whole introduction of mods and modding humans and everything. I definitely like that backstory with
Yes.
Fennec and Boba.
Yes.
So I thought that was great. That was definitely an element I did not expect to see, but was happy we got. For this past week's episode, I thought it was absolutely a fantastic Mandalorian episode, and I thought it was a absolute crap Book of Boba Fett episode. And once we go into the spoilers, I'll like we actually talk about, I'll go into the reasons why.
Yeah.
But overall, it was definitely a masterpiece. Like if you enjoyed The Mandalorian and you're one of those people out there that are kind of like back and forth, like on an episode by episode basis with Book of Boba Fett, you definitely enjoyed episode 5, hands down. It was great.
All right, Luna, hit me.
I loved episode 4. It was, again, like John said, I loved the modders. They really gave me Haxion Brood vibes with how they had droid parts. Thundercat was an interesting cameo. But yeah, it was, I just loved the episode. There's not too much I can say without going into spoilers, but it was a great episode. Episode 5, I couldn't take my eyes off the screen. I rewatched it like 4 times. It was just the perfect amount of fan service for me, and I just loved it. It really made you feel rewarded for enjoying all these different areas of Star Wars, which really made me happy.
Yeah. So I'll give my thoughts before we dive in here. Episode 4 really loved the modders, and I loved seeing how what happened after Boba got Fennec after she quote unquote died in The Mandalorian. I will say the encounter after getting a certain ship back was absolutely interesting as well. And Fennec Shand has like one of the best one-liners in Star Wars with that. And we'll get to that in a second. Episode 5, John hit the nail on the head. I mean, you all hit the nail on the head. It's an amazing episode of television. I mean, absolutely incredible episode of television. It is the best non-Mandalorian season premiere that we've ever had. I will say that for the Mandalorian season 3 episode 0.9, this is actually the best episode that we've had. In terms of Boba Fett, yeah, it does nothing to further the plot other than show how Din got to Tatooine. That's it. And his now I know I might be wrong here. I know some people are probably going to disagree with me, and that's fine. That's why we're here. That's why we have these discussions here. But it really does nothing to further the plot than to set up Mandalorian season 3, which we did know. I mean, let's face it, Filoni, Favreau, and Rodriguez said this is Mandalorian season 2.5 essentially. So we do have to set up Mandalorian, but one of the best hours of television I've ever watched, and just so much great world building for what we're going to see in season 3. So let's dive into season 4 here, or season 4, chapter 4 here, and
Well,
talk
ahead of the
about
game.
yeah. Well, we know Mandalorian's getting
Major
a 4th
spoiler
season.
alerts.
Yeah. Sorry, I've traveled through the world between worlds to show that Mandalorian, or to see that Mandalorian got a 4th season, and Boba Fett's on its 18th season, by the way.
The Max Rebo spin-off show was an
Yeah,
interesting but welcome.
the Max Rebo spin-off show went 6 seasons in a movie. So gotta make it to the gig, man.
So it's been relegated to a YouTube original.
Yeah,
YouTube
exactly.
original. It's not even on Disney Plus.
No. It's like pre Cobra Kai before Netflix took it over.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I forgot
Anyway,
all about that.
yeah, exactly. So let's talk about chapter 4 here, because chapter 4 we get a lot of flashback. The episode's primarily flashback until the end.
How could they?
I know, right? Where's Joey when I need him to just
Where's
yell
all the
about them?
flashback haters from
Yeah.
like the first 3 episodes here?
Yeah.
Also, like,
Um,
I just can't wait.
Yeah. So in this flashback is when Boba met Fennec, I guess you could say. Um, it's kind of like a when Harry met Sally type spin-off here. Um, and then in this flashback we get Boba saving Fennec's life by taking her to the Modders, and Fennec kind of feels a life debt to Boba as well, and she pretty much says that it's a life debt to Boba, and she'll help him with one thing. And Boba's like, well, I'm gonna break into like the most impenetrable place known to man on Tatooine and steal my ship back. And we get that, and we get the General Grievous 2.0 in the kitchen, who instead
General
of
Clevis.
yes, General Clevis, thank you.
I think we saw a droid like that in one of the. I think it was in episode 1.
No, it's episode 2. It's in Attack of the
2.
Clones. Yeah.
Was it? Is it in Dex's diner?
No, it's on the refugee ship with Anakin and Padme.
Yes.
Yeah. Real quick, Fred says episode 5 was a ton of fun, and by the end of episode 4, it feels like we're truly up to speed with all the background, and now we're ready to see the team come together and Boba gearing up for war. Yeah, but that's what we should have seen like halfway in episode 5, and we'll get to that here in a minute. So let's just say the mission to get Slave 1 back is a success. And Fennec decides she's going to go on the Boba Fett revenge tour with Boba Fett. And Boba Fett guns down some bikers in Slave 1. And then Boba Fett decides he's going to mess with the Sarlacc to get his armor back. And that ends up not going as well as he had hoped. And that's when we get the badass Fennec Shand moment where she drops a gravity mine and says, "Fire in the hole," which is amazing.
Yeah.
Well, the seismic charge noise was
the seismic
already,
charge, I should say. Yeah.
whatever the case, it was already one of the best sound designs in
Yeah.
Star Wars. But having it underground and seeing the sand ripple up,
Yeah,
was
that was
just
great. I mean,
Beautiful.
just when she's like fire in the hole, I was like, yes, let's do it.
I didn't dare to hope, but then they did it.
But
Yeah,
it was so
And then don't touch my
anticlimactic though. Like
buttons.
it is.
the bomb like trickles down the side of the ship
It does.
into the Sarlacc pit. And it's like no, I want to see this like a torpedo. I want to see this thing rocket out of the ship into the bowels of this beast. And then you get that sound that everyone loves.
Yeah.
And then go from there. But when it trickled down the side of the ship, and I was like, this is so bad. Okay, cool. We still get the explosion. But
I honestly can't complain. I loved it.
I mean,
it was cool.
It's a great moment.
I like that there was that split second of, is it going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've never
That's
seen
what it was
anything
for me.
like that.
Yeah.
And then Boba's retort to her is great. He's like, "Don't push that button ever
So
again,
don't touch my buttons."
don't touch my buttons," which I think is great because that like calls back to the whole Mando and Grogu thing, like after Grogu's like first on Mando's ship.
Rest in peace.
Yes, rest in peace, Razor Crest. What are so and then like we flash forward and we have Boba gearing up for war against the Pikes here, and let's just and they have the dinner from hell, I guess you could say, with the Trandoshans. which the scene where the Rancor teeth like comes up, or like the Rancor claws like come up
Yeah,
like underneath the table, is just brilliant.
such a
Such a power
flex.
move.
Oh, it is, because Boba's just like, all right, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, yeah.
What is
Fennec,
stopping you from shooting me?
Fennec and Boba are just like F around and find out.
Yeah,
Like, like F around and find out what happens here. I'm just doing this breakdown here, and you guys can stop me at any time and talk spoilers here, because it's such a brilliantly done episode. Um, these Trandoshans are scared as crap with
yeah.
Boba now.
The
Yeah.
huge wide eyes are so funny to me. I don't know how they like the expressions they managed to put on those like face prosthetics
Yeah.
were top notch. I loved their looks of like
Yeah.
when the one smacked him with the bottle, he slowly turns around.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he just looks petrified.
We also
Ugh.
get was this the Black Karistan or Chrysanthemum brawl in the
Yes.
bar?
Yeah.
That was
Right.
probably one of my favorite scenes ever.
Yes.
Is like when he gets the ultimatum, like he's like, hey, look, if you don't rip this guy's arms off, I'll pay your tab off and we'll call it even. And he's like, nah, just rips his arm off. I'm just sitting there like, this guy's such a badass. I love
I'm
this.
racked
This is
up.
so good.
Oh yeah.
I was like, I feel like
And
that would've
putting the
worked.
money in the Twi'lek's hands was
Yes.
really, really badass.
Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead,
so good.
Lavender.
I
I
feel like
love it.
she could have talked down anyone else in the
Oh,
galaxy,
yeah.
but because it was Kirsten, because it was a Trandoshan, he was just like, no, it's not worth it.
I want
Yeah.
I want to say that I think there was a bigger purpose to showing Garza Whip talking to Black Chrysanthemum like that. I think, and for Boba to witness it, more
Yeah.
importantly, because like it flashed over to him and you could see he was like impressed. I think that she's going to play a bigger role, maybe if there's a season 2, or maybe even just at the end of the series,
Yeah.
as like one of Boba's, like, I don't know, confidants, more trusted sort of information gatherer, somebody who can.
I think she's gonna be a shadow broker, but she's gonna play both sides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way,
I
I
was
think
gonna
that
say
there's more
for-
to Garza Whip for sure.
Yeah. Go ahead, Lavender.
My read on that scene was that it was kind of like Boba was there and he could easily just step in and,
Mhm.
handle Kirsten on his own. But he wanted to see how she was going to handle it and like let her know that like, I'm like giving you your autonomy. Like this is still your establishment. So like
Yeah.
handle it how you see fit.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Jennifer Beals, who plays Garza Whip, is just an incredible actress.
Yeah.
That scene was really good. I really liked the scene of her trying to talk Chrysanthemum down.
Yeah.
She's so convincing.
She's the only one besides Boba that can play to his ego.
Yes.
Yeah.
And really plays to his ego, because like when Boba lets him go, Chrysanthemum does not take a swing at Boba, and Boba's just like, dude, it's just business, and Chrysanthemum
Right.
knows that it's just business. So like at that point, Chrysanthemum is probably going to join Boba's army or
Oh,
Boba's
yeah.
team.
I'd be really surprised if we don't see that in the next episode.
Yeah, it just makes sense for it to happen, because they wouldn't take all of this time to develop the character of Black Chrysanthemum over the course of, I want to say 2.5 episodes, because
Yeah.
he's really just only in it for like 2.5 episodes.
Yeah.
They spend so much time developing his character that it would almost seem stupid if he just didn't end up fighting at the end of this thing for Boba.
I think that it's important that this was also the episode where we had Boba talking about how bounty hunters have been treated and how he can give them loyalty. To this sort of coming on the heels of him letting Chrysanthemum go and then immediately hiring him again.
Yeah.
I think that he's kind of looking to expand his circle of bounty hunters outside of just Fennec Shand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
It really reminded me of that earlier scene of him convincing Fennec to come to his side. Because
Yeah.
it feels like Boba has shown that he is a fair leader who can give loyalty more than anything else, and I think that's going to be important.
Yeah. Fred brings up a great point here. That bar fight brought me flashbacks of the first episode where the Trandoshan brought a freaking Wookiee pelt as their
Yes.
tribute. Yeah, that is really a slap in the face there to Black Chrysanthemum, considering like the Wookiees have always been used as slaves. And Jennifer Beals tries to kind of play to that, but like in a more endearing way, I guess you could say. It's just going to be interesting to see Black Chrysanthemum's character development here. The episode ends on a cliffhanger, you could say, where
More of a teaser.
yeah, it's actually a teaser, especially when we get into chapter 5 here. And we hear Boba saying we're going to need to hire muscle, and then you hear a certain character's theme in the background at the end, and that brings us to chapter 5 here, the return of the Mandalorian.
3 guesses as to who that certain character is.
It's Tari Vizsla.
I think the funny thing here is that the only thing that connects episode 4 and 5 together is literally the last 30 seconds of each episode.
Yeah.
It's weird, but I had one more question here real quick.
Sure.
Episode 4 was the one where in the beginning Boba is proclaimed like fully healed, correct? Like in the very beginning when he came out of the back tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious to see what that does for his character now, because some of the outcry online obviously has been, well, Boba Fett isn't as strong, isn't as powerful as we are used to seeing him. And then obviously, the first 4 episodes, he's weak. He has to recover. He's healing from his time in the Sarlacc pit, his time in the desert and everything. Now that he's proclaimed fully healed, I'm kind of curious to see how he now goes forward in the last 2 episodes. Is he going to return to that same kind of badass version of Boba Fett that people are expecting, and the I've never touched grass portion of the fandom is demanding? Or are we going to see Boba Fett stay with this new evolved approach where it's not always about muscle, rely on your allies, rely on Fennec, rely on what you know and your knowledge going forward when you go into this battle with the Pikes?
Yeah, I will say this, going back to your Boba Fett strength argument, though. We all know he is a badass, but I will say this: the original trilogy doesn't show him as a badass, because you don't really see
he gets
him
killed
do
the most
anything
goofy way
in the original trilogy. The only
Boba
way
Fett,
that
over there.
yeah, the only way that you see him like do the things that garner up this legend is in the old Legends material. Because like when you see him in his 27 minutes or so of screen time in the original trilogy, he
just sort of stands menacingly.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
He tries to get in the fight on the sail barge, but yeah, Han hits him in the back with a gaffing
and
stick.
He gets thrown like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, and then hits the side of the sail barge.
I mean, it's not like he used the jetpack anyway, as we saw in episode 3.
Oh my god, don't even get me started on that jetpack. So episode 5 here opens with the Mandalorian in a meat locker, going after a bounty. And
such a cool setting for that fight, by the way. I thought that was so unique for Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, if there's one thing, I will say this: there's one thing that these TV shows have done. It's shown close quarters combat in Star Wars, which like we haven't really gotten before. Like we've never had like just brawls.
Yeah,
in Star
and
Wars.
the significance of the scene being in a slaughterhouse with what's about to happen is so like just by this setting I could pretty much tell what was about to happen, and I think that was pretty clever, sort of.
Yeah.
I love the callback though of the tag or the line, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold. Like we're surrounded by dead things, but it doesn't have to go that way.
Yeah, I mean, really, his entire entrance in episode 5 is a throwback to season 1, episode 1.
Yeah.
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 The way he walked through those plastic curtains
Mhm.
is roughly the same way he kind of walked through the cantina door.
Yeah.
We see someone get sliced in half in both.
Oh, we do. Yeah, that's
we
true.
see,
Yeah.
he hits that line like you said, Lavender. Bring him in warm or bring him in cold. It was honestly an homage to episode 1, season 1 of The Mandalorian. And I thought that was great.
Mhm.
As unnecessary as I thought it may have been, I still really enjoyed it. But yeah, I think the biggest thing that was different in this go around was the use of the Darksaber,
What?
which shocker, spoiler alert, we're in the spoiler section already. Get over it. Yeah, the Darksaber, him struggling with the Darksaber,
Yeah.
I thought was a very good plot point because
Mhm.
Okay, he wins it at the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian. We don't really see him use it too much.
Nope.
And now we're seeing this
Yeah.
character that is a galactic badass. And he honestly looked like me after 5 drinks at Oga's trying to wield my lightsaber,
Yes.
in Batu. So I feel the struggle, my guy, but
Ugh.
it was so good. I didn't slice my leg open, but
Yeah.
he did. So maybe I have a leg up. Well, no pun intended. But
Ah.
trust me, I'm not a pun
Podcast
person.
over.
It was-
Joey
I
puns.
hate puns. So,
Yeah.
yeah, for real. But yeah, I found that aspect of it very fascinating.
Yeah. I will also say this, going back to the homage that you guys are talking about. In that homage, when he says the line, I can bring you in warm or I can bring you in cold, he goes for his gun like he does in the very first
Yeah.
episode of the show. But it
Yeah.
has a completely different outcome. And when the guy freaking bites him,
It's gonna turn into a zombie. It's
He's
normally
gonna
what
turn
happens
into a
when you get-
Clatoonian.
yeah, I was just like, well, he's had a Wookiee bite him now. Or no, Boba
Yeah.
Fett had a Wookiee bite him. But is there something with Robert Rodriguez and wanting people to get bit?
I have no idea. I have to ask, by the way.
Yeah.
We don't know if the slaughterhouse was on the Ring world,
No,
but
it is.
if it wasn't,
It is.
It was
It
yeah.
is. Yeah, it is.
okay. Because if it wasn't, I was just imagining the Mandalorian going on public transport to get there with a severed head in a
With the
bag,
head.
God,
just
we're
in,
gonna talk
just
about
like
galactic
strapped into the
TSA
seat
here in
next
a
to
minute.
him. He has to put the severed head through TSA.
We're gonna talk about that here in a few minutes.
You have DJ Rex there acting as TSA. It was like, you can't bring weapons or severed heads on the ship.
And then he's just like,
With
I'm-
all
Please
the
check your
Star
severed
Tours-
heads right here.
well,
With all the Star Tours references we've been getting in Book of Boba
Yes.
Fett, I'm like, why will they not just say Star Tours?
yeah,
Like, this is
exactly.
Star
Tours
That
flight,
should have
whatever.
been. That literally should have been a Star Speeder 1000.
Oh, absolutely.
It should have been a Star Speeder 1000. Now I will say this. After the fight, and after he chops the dude in half and then cuts the dude's head off, and he walks away with his life because like everybody else at the slaughterhouse is just like, no, we're good, bro. Like we're good. He has the most awkward elevator ride ever to go to this
So-
bar.
That was so funny.
And then when he gets to this bar, they keep encouraging him to have a drink and have food, and he's just like, no, I gotta
That
do
was an
this."
unnecessarily fun long shot, by the way. From when he gets into the elevator,
Yeah.
talks, and then gets back in the elevator, that's all one shot spinning around. And that was just, I loved
Yeah,
that.
It was brilliant. And then he goes on a search. He's told where the remaining members of his Mandalorian sect are, and they're in the bowels of this ringed space station that reminded me a lot of Halo.
Yeah. It was really cool, though. I loved it.
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the lawsuit.
yeah, exactly.
It looked just like Halo.
It did. It really did. Phil Spencer's now like getting a team of lawyers over in Seattle right now.
For real, right?
Yeah, we're gonna sue the pants off the mouse.
Oh no.
Nothing can stop us now. This just in, next week Disney buys Microsoft.
Ooh.
Oh boy, that would be
Matter of
something.
time.
Anyway,
It's like the biggest fish eating a smaller fish eating a smaller
yeah,
fish.
yeah.
There's
There's
always
always
a
a bigger
bigger
fish.
fish.
Yep, that's right.
There's always a bigger fish.
That's right. Um, so then we see the armorer, and she starts questioning Din Djarin and his Beskar spear that he has. And she's just like, "Where have you been? What have you been doing?" And he kind of fills her in on what's going on. And then we get the armorer making a little something for a certain little green friend named Gogurt?
Baby Yoda.
Baby Yoda.
He'll never have any other name.
Yeah, which now there's speculation that it could be like another orb that he had, that he had made, because
I think it's armor.
Well,
nah,
because
that's too
he has
small.
the orb.
Yeah,
It looked way too small in that packaging to like be armor, and the
Yeah.
fact like
It's got, like chainmail. I think it's like
a little
chainmail.
chainmail shirt.
Yeah, I think he's got
Maybe.
mithril.
look, if that's gonna be a chainmail shirt on Grogu,
He's not going to get that
I'm
much
gonna-
bigger.
I'm gonna have some serious reflection needed done if I see Grogu in a chainmail shirt come next episode.
I'm not saying it's definitely going to be that, but that's what I thought when we saw like the little chain links.
He needs an upgrade from the potato sack.
Now,
Yeah.
yeah, the potato sack. The forced potato sack. Which that thing, he's probably been wearing that thing for at least 30 years now.
Yeah,
Um,
Comfortable.
It is comfortable.
How
He
dare
just
you?
broke
Yeah.
it
comfy
in.
and easy to wear.
How dare I? He just broke it in. He just broke it in last week. Some people are saying like it's a necklace to hang the orb on, and it's made out of Beskar, which
Oh,
I
that's
think would
probably
be
more like what it
interesting
is, yeah.
too.
It's
Yeah.
probably like a chain for
Yeah,
the,
just a, hey Tina, how's it going?
Or his
Welcome
own
to the show.
mythosaur.
Yeah, or
it
but
only
he had
exists
that,
in
didn't he?
legends.
Oh, yeah, because, yeah, he
Well, he
has-
gave it to. He might have taken it back.
Or is it going to be the Mudhorn sigil?
Ooh, that's it. I think
No,
that's it. I think you. I think
Everyone
you hit the nail
here
on the
is
head.
wrong. It is a necklace for the ball of the controller lever from
Yeah.
the Razor Crest.
But
is what it's gonna be.
that's what I just said beforehand. That it was
Oh,
going to
I
be a
thought you were
necklace.
talking about a different orb.
I think
My
it's more
apologies.
likely that it's going to be the Mudhorn, but
No, he actually got a little bassinet made of like to remind him of their time together.
made a Beskar papoose to wear him on his front.
Yeah. So let's move on here, where the armorer teaches Din how to wield the darksaber, and I gotta
While
say
counting in
that this is,
Mandoa.
yes, and I gotta say this scene is fantastic because it parallels the scene in Star Wars Rebels where Kanan and Ezra are teaching Sabine how to wield the darksaber, and how Sabine finally like embraces the darksaber and is able to use it. Din is fighting against the darksaber because he sees it as a tool, not an extension of himself, as Sabine
And-
eventually saw it as.
And he doesn't even really want it, is the thing.
Yeah.
So he's not. His heart's not in it. He doesn't
Which-
really want it.
Which is why he's fighting with it.
Yeah.
Which is why he's struggling with it, because his heart isn't in it. Like, he doesn't
hmm
give a crap about the darksaber. He's just like, I don't care. Like, he literally tries to give it to Bo-Katan because
Yeah.
he's just like,
It's like,
"Look,
here, take it. I don't care.
He's like, I don't want this. I don't care about Mandalore. Like,
And,
I don't
and
want
Bo-Katan's too
this."
jaded to take it.
Yeah. So that's a really interesting scene. And then we get good old Johnny Favs as the heavy armor trooper. And they,
Paz Vizsla.
yes, Paz Vizsla.
Well, before they go into the fight, though, the one thing that I loved about that scene with Din and the armor was the actual background lore of the darksaber. That's really
Yes.
one of the first and only times that you really get kind of like that history lesson of this powerful weapon
Outside
that
of
was
Rebels.
created. I don't even think Rebels went that in depth.
No, it
like,
did.
It did. When
Like that in depth as they just
they
did
talked about
in
Tara
episode
Vizsla.
5.
yeah, when
Yeah.
I mean, they
Kanan was
talked about
talking
it,
to the guy, I don't remember the name of. They talked about Tar Vizsla.
Yeah, Kanan's talking to the one Mandalorian before
Okay.
he trains Sabine. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Yeah.
That's fine. But still, like, you know,
Also,
it was still an interesting point that she went through that lore process with him.
No, I still think that was good. I still agree with you.
And that's where we also get the is that where we get the flashback to the Night of the Thousand Tears?
That was that was a little bit after. I was about to say we can't go into the fight without talking about the Purge flashback. That was harrowing.
And here's what I need to know too, though. She seems very biased about her take on the Purge.
She's an unreliable narrator. People need to understand that.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan Kryze is a cautionary tale. Like,
we're cursed.
But was that the reason that this happened?
Yeah. She's an unreliable narrator. People on Twitter need to understand.
I wouldn't say Bo-Katan is the reason why the Purge happened.
Yeah.
It would the Purge happened because the Mandalorians were tired of the Empire's crap.
Yeah.
And rebelled against the Empire. It had nothing. I mean, Bo-Katan was involved in that.
Of course.
He was going to do that with or without the Darksaber, though.
But here's my point, though. If we're talking about Bo-Katan and how like this kind of stems from her, this doesn't stem from her. This stems from Satine.
Yeah.
Ultimately, this stems from Satine because Satine wanted Mandalore to be neutral in the first place, and because she aligned herself with the Republic, that's what happened.
Yep.
Go ahead, Luna. I'm sorry.
No, you go ahead. I was gonna basically say the same thing.
Yeah.
Shed a tear for Duchess Satine.
Yeah. I mean, R.I.P. Duchess Satine because she's an amazing character. And if you haven't watched Clone Wars, what the hell is wrong with you? Because it's some of the best storytelling out there. But I will say this. Ultimately, this stems from her and her love for Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And you could ultimately say that this is Obi-Wan's fault too.
Obi-Wan is like
I don't want to talk about Obi-Wan anymore.
Yeah. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I love Obi-Wan Kenobi to death, but if we're talking about this purge, there's a lot of things that lead up to this purge that the Armorer is omitting from this story to Din.
Yeah.
And it's stuff
it more seems like a justification of her own beliefs that she can.
Well, yeah, it's the line I drew here was when we first see Bo-Katan in The Mandalorian. It talks about, you're from that one sect of Mandalorians that are holding on to past traditions that are like fanatical, where they hold it like as a religion. Well, this was a very good example of that, where we hear the Armorer give the, ultra fanatical side of what happened during the Purge is, okay, well, it was Bo-Katan's fault because she wielded the Darksaber without winning it properly. Like, this was her fault. Like, that's the big reason why. And Luna, you're 100% correct that, it's an unreliable narrator here telling this story because it's told from a very extreme perspective.
Extremely biased perspective.
Yeah,
too.
we have Bo-Katan's perspective, and now we have the Armorer's perspective, and like anything in life in Star Wars, the truth is somewhere there in the middle. And there's evidence, like everyone was just discussing with the events leading up to it. But I'll say this episode actually made me not like the Armorer that much.
Let's also not forget that Bo-Katan is the sister of the person who exiled them to Concordia.
Yeah, because she's Satine's sister.
Yeah, and Satine is the one that exiled all of the people to Concordia. So they probably don't like her very much.
Lavender.
I saw a great theory the other day. It was like, what if the Armorer is the mysterious missing third Kryze sibling, aka Corky's mom?
I mean,
that's why she's got it out for Bo-Katan.
That could be a possibility here.
Could be.
Because now we haven't seen the Armorer's face, which we probably won't for a while. but judging by the
Is that her?
voice, yeah, but judging by the voice, it seems like she could be around that age of
Yeah.
Doesn't Maggie
Bo-Katan.
think that Corky is Obi-Wan and Satine's son?
Oh yeah. Oh
Oh,
yeah.
I'm fully on board with that.
Oh,
I'm on
If
board with
his
it too.
mother is
yeah.
not
'Cause
the mysterious third
Yeah,
trees,
oh.
then
I'm
Satine's
gonna
not his aunt.
I'm gonna say this, and this is completely off topic, real quick.
Off the record.
Off the record, and I'm sorry, Disney, but Obi-Wan and Satine, they hooked up. Like I'm just gonna say that.
Oh, they
yeah.
fucked.
Can't drop the
Oh,
F-bomb
sorry,
on the
sorry.
live show, except on RPG
My apologies.
night. No, you're fine. I'll let it go this time. But no, they
Nobody
did.
ever told me that.
No, I'm sorry. I apologize for that. But
You're good.
but no, like they totally hooked up. Like that's what they did. I mean, it's implied that they hooked up. Anyway, let's move on here. The last thing I'll say about the Night of the Thousand Suns, that flashback is freaking beautiful.
It's so
Yes.
sad.
I will say that it's sad, but it's beautifully shot and beautifully rendered.
It's harrowing.
We got live action Mandalore.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Just to watch it blow up.
So let's move on now, where we get the fight between the Vizsla sibling and Din Djarin, in which the Vizsla sibling takes him to school for a while until Din realizes he doesn't need the Darksaber to beat the crap out of people.
Yeah.
And Din,
Yeah, I think he was much better off going back to the methods he knew.
yeah, exactly. Which I don't like Din with the Darksaber. I really don't. Hey, Scarif Scuttlebutt, they totally bumped uglies. Yes, they did.
It's almost worse than any other way you could put it.
No,
He
I
was a
mean,
hypocrite. He
was.
gave Anakin crap for hooking up with Padme, and now here he is off planet
But-
doing his own dirty deed.
I will
He
say
tried.
this.
He tried to mediate there.
I will say this. He only gave Anakin crap for hooking up with Padme in public. In
That's true.
private, he never
Yes.
cared. He only cared
When,
about Anakin's happiness and Padme's happiness.
Like in the Clone Wars, in season 7, he's like, at least tell Padme I said hi.
Yeah,
Like he knows.
Like at this point, like halfway through Clone Wars, he knows.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
and
think
he
it was, like,
doesn't
season 5
and he
or
doesn't chastise him. He's just like,
Yeah.
hey, I know what's going on.
Lavender, you hit the nail on the head. By season 5, he knows. He's
Yeah.
just like,
Well, 'cause
whatever.
even there's like a scene where he comes to Anakin in his room and he's like, "Is there anything you want to tell me?" And he's like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And he's like, "No, like maybe I've been there before. Maybe you can talk to me about these things." And Anakin's just like, no."
It's
One of the
Nothing.
funniest
Go ahead.
one of the funniest scenes in the Clone Wars is that one of those first episodes with Satine
I was
when
gonna say
Obi-Wan and Satine were arguing with each other and Anakin just looking between them. And then we had like this almost reversed roles of the elevator scene from Attack of the Clones as they were talking about Satine and Obi-Wan's prior relationship. It was just
yeah,
my
Obi-Wan.
favorite
And
part.
Anakin even calls her, like, he's like, "Obi-Wan, like your girlfriend needs you or something."
And
Yeah.
Obi-Wan like smirks and then he catches himself.
Yeah.
And he's just like, "No, she's not my girlfriend, Anakin. She's not my girlfriend." And Anakin's like, "Yeah, okay. Oh,
Does
okay,
she know
whatever.
that?
Just like Padme is not my wife, pal. Like, yeah, okay. So
So good.
let's move on here to the end of the fight where the armorer then asks a really interesting question to both is it Tari Vizsla?
Paz
No,
Vizsla.
Paz Vizsla.
P-A-Z.
I get them all confused because they're like
It's fine. There's a
um
lot of Vizslas.
yeah.
Paz and Pre are
so,
both.
So she asks Paz Vizsla if he's ever removed his helmet in front of somebody or has ever had his helmet removed.
In the
and
middle of the fight.
Yeah, in the middle
Yeah.
of the
This
fight.
was the question that popped in her head.
Yeah.
Was
Well,
to
it was like
ask
the
them
fight was
at
over.
this
She said
time.
like
You know what?
enough.
Let me stop this and just ask this question.
Okay, look, like whether the fight was done or not, no one died. So in my opinion, it was still going. I don't
Yeah.
care. It was like, okay, there's only 3 of us
It's-
left. We have to
it's
stop and
similar-
save numbers. Fine,
That was
but
like
you
your
don't
mom
stop
tells
it
you,
with
like,
a.
"That's enough."
Yeah.
It's like it's like sitting here. It's like if we're recording a podcast live on YouTube right now, and then all of a sudden, it's a Star Wars themed podcast. We're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, kind of like we're doing right now, hypothetically speaking. And then someone just went,
Boogers.
"Hey, Eric, have you ever been swimming?"
Well, John, I would say this. I have on many occasions.
Okay. Well, because of that, we're gonna have to kick you off the podcast. It makes no sense.
Off of
like,
my own
why
show.
at that point? Yeah, like I honestly, like, why at that point?
Well,
was
she said
that
enough.
all of a sudden,
like,
yeah, but why even at the end of the fight? Why was it at that moment that was the biggest question in the universe? Was have you ever taken your helmet off?
I think that the armor was almost trying to de-escalate. She's like, say, hey, we're all Mandalorians here. We're all part of the same clan.
Yeah.
We've got the same creed.
Or was it a tactic to employ with Paz Vizsla to get the upper hand on Din?
That could
Because
be as
Din,
well, yeah.
because Din falters when she asks him the question. And you can tell like Din wants to lie because of everything that he's gone through, he says no. I mean, he says yes, he tells her the truth. And then she's like, "All right, you're gone. Get out."
Get out of here.
What would have happened though if he said no? He's the only person that would have known.
I don't think that
I
Din
think she still
Djarin
would have suspected something.
I don't think Din Djarin is good at lying. I just don't think he is. I don't think that's something that he'd be good at.
No, as we saw in season 2.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite headcanons for him, that he just doesn't know how to lie.
So let's move on now, where Din ends up leaving this station because he really has nowhere else to go, and takes public transport to Tatooine, where then he runs into Galactic TSA, not the Galactic TSA agent from our RPG show that calls people a colossal waste of time, but this is a droid that, hold on, Fred says she didn't think Mando would win and pulled out the final trick to mess it all up, and it's so ridiculous they all toss out 1/3 of their team. Yeah, exactly, Fred. Exactly.
It was
It's so out
so
of place.
ridiculous is exactly what that entire moment was.
Yeah.
It was just dumb.
And it's a great fight. It's a great fight.
Like you're not real Mandalorian.
Yeah, exactly. And if I was Din, I would have told her to.
But
Never mind.
again, it goes to demonstrate the fanaticism of that sect of Mandalorian.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. So we
It
have.
felt in.
Go
Sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
It felt in universe ridiculous to me. It felt like that makes sense for those characters, but I think that it's
Random
it
thought.
is dumb.
Yeah.
You're kicked out of my treehouse.
Yeah. It
My
goes.
treehouse.
It goes back to that thing. What was it like when I talked about it, where it sounded like two little kids like arguing, and it's like, no, he's been able to do this the whole time. No,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, like it just sounded like it sounded like three kids on a playground being like, no, that's against the rules that I just made up there, Timmy, so you can't do that.
I knew we were going to try to move on from this fight, but
Yeah.
something dawned on me that we're talking about the fanaticism of the Children of the Watch, and
That's
it's
what I
kind of like the Jedi when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like oh, Anakin, you got married. Guess you're not going to be a Jedi anymore.
Yeah, which completely contradicts everything that we're getting in the High Republic, by the way.
Well, it goes to show how the Jedi have fallen since
Yeah.
that time period. I think it's in large part what the era is about. To show what the Jedi used to be and how they fell, and making it more tragic that way.
Which we're going to get into that at another time. So Din Djarin takes commercial transport, but yet has to check his weapons with Galactic TSA, which is a great scene, by the way.
I fully expected him to open the case and at least the Darksaber be missing.
Yeah, because they kept emphasizing and they kept focusing on the case as like he's dumping all the weapons in there.
So sure something was going to go missing.
Yeah, I thought so too, honestly, but
I'm glad it didn't. I think that would have been a little contrived.
Then
it's a good thing the spear was gone. I mean, there's no way that fits into that.
How's it gonna fit?
He
Would you
needs one of those
deprive an old man
lightsaber
of his
shapes
walking
from
stick?
Galaxy's Edge.
Unless the RX unit, it just like has a convenient way of like folding it to fit in the suitcase.
Folding Beskar.
Yes,
Just
he's a bending unit.
and everybody just
You
stares at
check
him.
into the Star Tours flight,
Yeah.
and they hand you one of the Savi's lightsaber sheaths.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, here, put your spear
Exactly.
in this.
It has the Savi's lightsaber logo on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please.
You
That
know,
would have been epic.
that would have been epic. So then Din is flying commercial, and for those of us that do fly, Din is encountering almost every situation on an airplane at this time. He's looking out the window, and then this Rhodian kid turns around and is staring at him the whole
He
time.
was so cute.
Now, I will say this, for those of you that have watched Star Wars Resistance, I have seen a small theory pop up that kid is actually Hype Phazon from the Colossus. And I was like, that would be so cool if it's Hype
That
Phazon from
would
the
be so
Colossus.
cool.
Especially with what comes next with that kid.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
I believe this theory. I believe this theory now. I just heard of it. I believe it.
So
I will do no further research.
So Din lands on Tatooine, gathers all of his belongings, and then goes to the hangar of the woman that helped him in Mos Eisley to get a brand new ship. And he is convinced it's another Razor Crest. And when she reveals what it is, we see this beautiful N1 Naboo starfighter that needs a lot of love. And then, let's not forget here, we're introduced to a brand new droid if you've never played Jedi Fallen Order.
Oh,
Which shame on you if you haven't played it.
Yeah, honestly.
Shame,
the BD droid, as soon as I
shame.
saw it, I like shrieked out loud. I was so happy.
I was so happy too.
Same.
I was so happy. We see a
I
BD
love
droid.
how it looks on screen.
It looks fantastic.
Look
Yeah.
great.
It looks incredible in live action. And that poor BD droid, especially when he gets attacked at the beginning. I felt so bad for that little guy. I was like,
he's using like the same limping animations as BD1
I
too.
was like, you just introduced this little guy and now you're gonna kill him?
And this was our first canon Womp Rat appearance, wasn't it?
It was our first canon Womp Rat appearance in
I've always been
Beggar's
curious.
Canyon.
Beggar's Canyon.
Yep.
Although we technically saw Beggar's Canyon before.
Yes, we
now
have
it just
seen
has
Beggar's
the name.
Canyon. Yes. So throughout this, don't worry, the BD droid is fine. We see the crazy dock worker, I guess you could call her.
Pelimoto.
Pelimoto. She is helping Din fix up this starfighter just so that he can test it out before he decides whether or not it's a good fit for him. We find out that Pelimoto dated Jawas.
And they're furry.
And they're very furry.
So furry.
Which I gotta say, the two Jawas that show up in that episode, I love the fat one in the background. He's so... I mean, he is just there just to be there, and he is living his moment, and it's freaking fantastic. It's so funny. And like you see them come in like different shapes and sizes, which I think is great too. So like they help scavenge parts and everything. And then during that time, we also see BD1 making sure there aren't any scurriers running around the hangar as well. They put this N1 starfighter together, but they modify it. And they make this thing look so friggin' badass and silver. And then there's one thing that's added to this ship. And as much as, okay, I'm going to hot take real quick before I get into this, okay? I don't want to see Grogu for a long time.
That is a hot take.
A couple of seasons. I do not want to see Grogu for a couple of seasons. You know it's coming, though, in Season 3. Like, they're going to do it in Season 3. They put a dome where the droid compartment should be, and we're all like, we know who that's for.
We
It's
know
a
who
car
that's for.
seat.
What's that?
It's a car seat.
It is a car seat, just so that he
It's
can be
so
like.
cute. That's so cute.
But then
So
Din takes this for a test drive, Top Gun style. And this
Somebody
is a
on,
badass scene. Go ahead.
yeah, somebody on Twitter pointed out to me, and I just thought it was really funny. Somebody said like that Din is just like a sad dad going through a midlife crisis, fixing up a vintage car
I did see
because
that.
he's sad
He's
his
an
son
empty
isn't there.
nester.
Or he lost his mobile home, so now he
Yeah.
bought like a vintage car.
And he's like fixing it up, and he's
Yeah.
all and he's. I
That's
just thought that was
my
a
one
really funny way to
complaint
put it.
Go ahead.
about the N1 is we have a guy who like lives in his ship. He like lives out of the Razor Crest.
Yeah.
Like he can't sleep in the N1.
No, he can't.
The
But
guy's
Maybe
used to
the seat
rocking-
goes back like in a car.
what's that, Sean?
Even like the dude's used to rocking a galactic RV,
Yeah.
and now he's upgrading to a
Space Honda.
1960s muscle car
Yeah.
with the engine sticking out of the hood.
Which I gotta
Like-
tell you, the engine block was amazing.
That was,
Yes.
that was
Sticking
amazing.
out of
Hey,
the
there's a
hood.
cat.
Yes. I was just like, we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that exhaust block, huh? We're gonna get that engine block. All right, let's do it. All right, now we have our kitties.
All right, well, I'm gonna get my cat.
Is that a
wait,
tauntaun?
my cat's nowhere to be found.
I don't have a cat.
It's all good.
Our
Gonna
cats
hug.
look remarkably similar, I want to say.
Yes, they do.
So
This is Jaina, by the way, named after
Jaina Solo, that's awesome.
This is
Yeah.
This is Meatloaf, though he has many names.
Nice. So we get this amazing test flight, and which we do get to see him fly through Baker's Canyon. And I think how fitting is it for him to rediscover his love for flying in the same canyon that Anakin Skywalker pod raced through, and that Luke Skywalker
And Luke Skywalker.
yeah, and that Luke Skywalker discovered his love for piloting through as well. I just thought that was just an awesome moment.
And then we have our space cops show up.
Yes. Then after
He
buzzing,
gets pulled over.
after pretty much pulling a Top Gun where he buzzes this ship, which he does, which the, oh God, I literally just forgot the species.
Rodian?
The little
Rodian,
kid.
yeah. Oh, God, and I said it earlier. Looks out the window, and Din nods to him, and then takes off. And then we get the two cops, and one of them is Lieutenant or Captain Carson Teva, which from The Mandalorian, which I think is brilliant. I thought that was a great cameo. The
Uncle
other pilot,
Iroh.
yes, he's going to be the new live-action Uncle Iroh.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then we also get another Star Wars cameo here. The lieutenant was actually the stand-in for Luke Skywalker from the end of The Mandalorian season 2.
I thought that was a great cameo.
Yeah, which is
I didn't
great.
even recognize him with the beard.
Yeah, I mean it's a great scene. And then Mando pretty much just hits in the nitrous to get away from these guys. And then the guy's like, the lieutenant's like, well, should we call it in? And the captain's just like, dude, I don't want to do these reports.
It's like how cops sometimes won't even go after motorcyclists that are speeding down
yeah,
because it's just too dangerous.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And also,
they-
like,
and they
do you
can't
want to
catch
do
'em.
that paperwork?
Yeah.
yes. Mando gets back to the Mos Eisley spaceport, lands his brand new N1 fighter, and is greeted by Fennec Shand, and is told, "We need muscle." She even offers to pay him. He accepts the payment, and then she says it's for Boba Fett. And Mando says, "Well, that's on the house." Throws the money back, and then she's like, "All right, well, it's time to get to work." And he says, "Well, no, I gotta visit a little friend first." And then it fades to black, and then we get that epic Book of Boba Fett theme, and we get the cool concept art. Your thoughts on the remainder part of this episode as a whole here, as we start to wrap things up for the night. I will say this. I wish that this had been a half and half episode with Mandalorian and Boba Fett. I mean, it was, don't get me wrong, it's a very entertaining episode and it's a great episode of television. Bryce Dallas Howard can direct the hell out of anything and I'll watch it.
He needs
Yeah.
to get more Star Wars projects. Like
She does.
ASAP.
Please.
Make Solo 2 happen and bring Bryce Dallas Howard on.
Solo was underrated.
Yes,
It's
highly
such a good
underrated.
movie.
It is.
You mispronounced overrated.
You can leave, sir.
Yeah, we're
Wow.
he's gone.
Nicely done, sir. Nicely done.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah. So yes, my thoughts. I love this episode, but I just wish it had been half and half. I wish that it had actually been Boba Fett greeting the Mandalorian at the end instead of Fennec Shand.
I think we're gonna see that he was talking to someone else at the same time. They split up to recruit people.
Do you think he's talking to Black Chrysanthemum at that time while she's
I
dealing
do,
with
yeah.
Mando? Okay.
Either Chrysanthemum or Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
I feel like Bo-Katan could get pulled in too.
I mean, Bo-Katan would make sense in a way.
That'd be awkward.
Now, so we have
It'd
two
be awkward,
episodes.
but she can fight.
Yeah. We have 2 episodes of the show left. We know part of the next episode is probably going to be them bringing in more muscle. What are the odds that we see the Mandalorian bring in Cobb Vanth?
I don't know. Is Cobb Vanth even like a bounty hunter, or does he just do his own thing?
He does his own thing, but he can hold his own.
That's true.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he said he was still going to protect the people of Mos Pelgo.
yeah, and that might his interest might lie. So maybe, and I'd love to see him, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna hold my breath personally.
John, what do you think the odds are?
Oh my.
I don't think we see him. I think it would be cool, but you know what? I'll just say this: it wouldn't surprise me. How about that?
Okay.
Because with how random some of these episodes have been,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna surprise me anymore in this series. Like, Luke Skywalker can make another appearance.
God, I hope not.
Han Solo could make
That
an
would be
appearance.
awkward. Luke and
Uh,
Boba meeting.
You know, just it wouldn't surprise me anymore. And in my closing thoughts with everything for 4 and 5, I'll go into that. But it wouldn't surprise me, but I don't think it would. I don't think you would.
Yeah.
I will say this real quick. For those of you that are asking if Mace Windu is coming into the show, he's not.
No.
Mace Windu is dead.
Yeah.
We can't tell Pat that because Pat doesn't believe
No.
that.
Pat would get triggered.
Yeah, Pat would get triggered, which he's probably watching right now. No, he isn't.
Let him
but-
dream.
Yeah. But like Mace Windu isn't coming here. If they're gonna get anybody else, they might get Bosk, they might get like Forlom and Zuckuss and like a few of those guys, but they're not gonna
I
be,
would
like
Be so happy if they brought in Cad Bane,
I would
I
love
doubt
to
they
see
will,
Cad Bane,
but
and I would love to see Embo. I think Embo would
Yes.
be a cool one too, especially with that hat.
Embo's
Like,
so cool.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
What's that species called again?
Oh, I forget what they're called.
They just introduced a Jedi of that species in the High Republic, and
Yeah,
I
they
was
did.
really
Yeah,
stoked about that.
They did.
I was
Um,
really stoked about that because that looks so cool.
So we're gonna wrap things up here. Let's just say we're fully vested in this show, but
Kyuzo is the species.
Kyuzo.
Keys.
Should have known
Okay.
that.
They're gonna have to bring in an episode 6 and 7 here to
Yeah.
really wrap things up because let's face it, this episode felt a little out of place here.
I'm still pretty convinced there's going to be a season 2.
We'll see. I mean,
They haven't announced anything yet, but I'm pretty
well,
convinced.
they announced season 2 of The Bad Batch right as the season 1 finale was airing.
Yeah.
So
And,
we
like,
might
even-
get that announcement for Book of Boba Fett.
This isn't Star Wars, but still Disney Plus shows. Loki, we didn't know there was going to be a second season until
Well,
the
and then we
very
also
Yeah, like end
told
credits.
we were also told that Falcon and the Winter Soldier would get second season too.
Mm.
Um,
So I don't know. We'll see. I think there's probably going to be a second season, but
yeah,
who knows?
John, your thoughts on a second season, or do you think it's over?
If I have to see how this season ends,
Yeah.
to be honest,
That's
because
true.
if you were to ask me right now, I would beg not to have a second season.
Yeah.
Because I feel like one of the biggest criticisms, and again, when I don't know, Eric, do you want me to have this as like my final thought on the whole thing, or just a season 2 question?
Just a season 2 question. I'll get
Okay.
your final thought here in a minute.
So for season 2, if you were to ask me right now after episode 5, would there or should there be a season 2? I would say no.
Yeah.
Depending upon how it ends, it might change my mind.
Mhm.
But much like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, I don't think that should get a season 2.
Yeah.
Loki, I can see having a season 2,
Yeah.
but I just don't feel like the story did much of anything
Mhm.
other than cause unnecessary headaches. And like, yeah, like we got some background here and there. We got some, filler of like, oh, how did this character get to X, Y, and Z, and so on and so forth. And
Yeah.
that's always great. But those moments don't define a multi-million-dollar decision to greenlight a season 2.
Yeah.
I just don't feel like the story up to this point has really any impact in the Star Wars galaxy of like helping advance what's going on after episode 6.
Yeah.
Of the original trilogy. So it's I feel like if they handled the narrative better up until this point, then yes.
Mhm.
But is this too iffy up to the end of episode 5?
It is a little early to say. Like we haven't seen the last 2 episodes. We don't know what.
Yeah. That is true too. We have not seen the last 2 episodes.
So it's a little early to be making that sort of judgment. But
Yeah.
I'm not speaking from a place of do I think there should be one. I'm saying that I think there probably will be one.
Yeah.
But whether or not there should be one is what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Lavender, your thoughts on a season 2 possibility?
So I'm thinking the Book of Boba Fett is going to be like a one and done.
Mm.
But I think we'll still continue to see his story play out through the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like, occasional appearances from, for example, Boba Fett and Tatooine.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah.
Like I don't want this to be the end of Boba's story by any means, but I think that this like particular storytelling style for him is probably just the one series.
Yeah. I agree. I think that by the time episode 7 rolls around, you can do other things with this character, bring him into other TV shows, bring him into more books and comics and stuff, and just have him live on through that. Yeah, I'm in agreement here. I think that there is the possibility for a season 2. I don't want to see a season 2. I'm better off with this thing being a one and done. That way I can just pick it up and just watch it as a complete story just at any time and watch it over the course of 7 or 8 hours, what have you. Any other last thoughts before we wrap things up tonight? No? Okay.
Nope.
Okay. That is going to be it for us this week. I still have a bunch of audio to get through to release on our podcast platforms, which we are going to very, very soon. But yes, join us after the show in our Discord. We're going to be watching The Legend of Vox Machina in about 15 minutes or so. So if you want to join us for that, that's it for us this week. We will be back next week at 8 p.m. also for our review of the Book of Boba Fett. Oh my God, here's another one. The Book of Boba Fett, episode 6. And sorry. Why? Yes, we will be looking at the Book of Boba Fett chapter 6 and breaking down other Star Wars news that we've gotten throughout the week. Once again, my name is Eric Mitchell. Thank you to Luna. Thank you to Lavender. Thank you to John for joining me. we hope that you all have a wonderful week. We hope that you all, may the force be with you all, regardless of where you're living, especially if you're in the Northeast. Stay safe. That blizzard is no freaking joke right now.
I'm
So
in
please,
Ohio. That'll be fun.
yeah. So please
Stay
stay
warm.
safe, stay warm. May the force be with you. May you always fight for light and life. And remember, at the end of the day, we are all the Republic. That's it for us. We hope that you have a wonderful week.